V can be saved. And I don't just say that because I huffed copium a couple seconds ago. I say it because I have evidence from the canon Cyberpunk sourcebooks and 2077. This possibility even applies to every unique ending of 2077. Hear me out. As we know, by the end of 2077, V is left with very few options for survival. Well, technically zero if you want to factor in his 6-month trial period after being released from Mikoshi. However, there is a way for V to survive that was never considered. Similar to the devil ending though, this would require the aid of a corporation, going by the name of Biotechnica. If you don't know what Biotechnica is, I don't blame you. Despite being an extremely important corporation when it comes to the world building of Cyberpunk, they remain relatively unspoken of in our 2077 playthrough. Here's a quick rundown. Biotechnica is a corporation that sprouted in Rome. Despite being relatively unknown, they would suddenly have a world-changing development in their hands with the creation of a substitute for fossil fuels called CHOOH2. Though this didn't last. Unable to keep up with supply and demand, they sold the exclusive licensing for the product to Petrochem. While this might be viewed as a fumble, Biotechnica still rose to the title of mega corporation as a result of their continued research and development, oftentimes involving biological weapons to be sold off to corps like Arasaka. Biotechnica didn't stop there though. They had a second world-changing discovery that ties into the rest of this video and theory. In 2020, a scientist by the name Francis Young was successful in producing the first self-aware, fully functional human clone by implanting a construct personality. Initially, this development was artificial, but soon enough, they began experimenting to insert naturalized, digitized personalities in clones using something similar in tech to the Soulkiller. We can actually look into the Cyberpunk Land of the Free adventure book to dive into the exact details of the first clone. Now it's essential to note that this clone wasn't technically a human. Its name was Adriana, and despite looking exactly like Francis Young's daughter, didn't contain any portion of her personality. The only real description that can be used for this clone is that it was a rudimentary AI in human flesh, incapable of expressing any real emotion or desire. Directly pulling from page 11 of the sourcebook, it reads, "Her knowledge and memories are a template drawn from several people, assembled in a computer as an artificial intelligence, and downloaded into the complete body." End quote. Now, you might be questioning why Biotechnica, cloning technology, and its history is so vital to V's survival. Or maybe you've already connected the dots in your head. While no specific ending is currently canon to 2077, I want you to think about this specific detail. No matter which ending you choose, V is soul-killed. In the devil ending, V is pushed into being soul-killed in order to be freed from an endless loop of experiments every single day.
Don't want to die.
A good choice. The England station is ready for you. We should not wait for your condition to worsen.
And in every other ending, V is soul-killed the moment he enters Mikoshi with Alt and Silverhand.
So, when do we start? Haven't caught on yet, have you?
What? What do you mean?
Alt's already split us. Once you jacked into Mikoshi, she lit you up with Soulkiller. Your output don't fuck around.
I am not his girlfriend.
No matter the ending, or even if he keeps his body or not, V is soul-killed and turned into a soul-killed pseudo-intellect. This information allows my theory to be a canon possibility for V's survival no matter what ending is considered canon. Despite being an exact replica of the specified human personality, at the end of the day, a soul-killed pseudo-intellect is a subtype of AI, rather than a human consciousness, one that can be downloaded, uploaded, altered, and moved around. We primarily of course know this through the Alt AI within 2077, which makes it abundantly clear that a soul-killed individual is simply information, rather than the actual person it replicates. So while yes, the original V is technically killed the moment he enters Mikoshi, or chooses to be soul-killed by Arasaka, we are talking about the survival of this version of V, the one that has been soul killed. Just had to make that abundantly clear. We even know through 2077 that the major roadblock Arasaka experiences in bringing back Saburo Arasaka is that a host body must be genetically similar, which is why Yorinobu is used as his host body in the Devil ending.
WMS News has been notified of a breaking story. Saburo Arasaka lives once more, though now in the body of his son. The CEO was reported dead months ago, but now it's been revealed that a copy of his consciousness was made before his death. It appears his consciousness was used to override that of his son and heir Yorinobu Arasaka. This shocking development was revealed at a press conference earlier today.
So, if a clone body is created as a host for soul-killed pseudo-intellect, it would be possible to properly bring that person back to life, and even create a loop of immortality. This means that just like Alt does for V when returning him to his body, it is possible that Biotechnica can create a clone of V and upload his soul-killed information directly to it. This would allow V to be brought back to life within an uncorrupted body, identical to his original. The obvious reasoning as to why Biotechnica hasn't capitalized on the ability to create immortality like this scenario proposes is that they don't have access to Soulkiller, though this wouldn't be an issue for V, seeing as he's already been soul-killed and has the relic inserted. On the flip side, Arasaka has been incapable of this revelation due to not having proper cloning technology. Looking at the Firestorm Shockwave sourcebook, we can actually see Arasaka was on the verge of creating immortality through the production of clones combined with Soulkiller. Page 139 states that the 2023 Arasaka Towers contained a cloning facility hooked up to its Soulkiller storage core, even containing tissue samples labeled as Alt Cunningham and Yorinobu Arasaka. We all know what happens in the 2023 raid though. The Arasaka Towers are nuked, and all data on the research and experiments are lost with it. Besides the 2023 Arasaka research, we even have 2 examples that provide us with proof that this process would be successful for V. However, I've already produced 2 separate videos covering these occurrences in a video essay format. These videos will be linked on screen and cover the idea that the real Alt Cunningham and Johnny Silverhand are alive through the use of cloned bodies in 2045. Both these videos are in-depth and cover every detail in relation to their stories, pulling from sourcebooks and 2077 alike. I recommend that everyone watches these 2 videos to be truly convinced of V's chance of survival. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Are you convinced that V has a shot at survival through this cloning method, or do you personally find it to be a bunch of gonk talk? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Thank you as well to every member on screen. I appreciate all of you, especially the conversations we all have on stream. If you'd like to become a member as well, I now have memberships open for as little as $1 a month. You can get some emoticons, profile icons, your name in the end scroll of each video, and some other perks. I'll be streaming every Sunday at 11 AM PST, so tune in if you get the chance. Have a great week, Chooms.